Hello and welcome everyone. This is Lavender Sky Panther. Today is Saturday, December 12th, 2020, and today's topic is called Sky Craft. It's a collection of images and sky observations happening December 4th through the 9th, 2020. And before we get going, I'd like to say good day, osio, hao, buongiorno, guten tag, kia ora, jambo, buenos dias, bonjour, ni hao, dzień dobry, konnichiwa, dobrohonia, annyeonghaseyo, boa tarde, dobry den, aloha winala, kalimera, and guten dag. And today's starter image is a little bit different than what I usually do, but it's a nice hot fresh pizza. On the left-hand side is basil, on the right-hand side is sausage on it. And a little joke to the far right is just, I never saw such a pizza. And this is just my kind of a reminder slide just to talk about something very quickly before we get into the meat of the show, so to speak. It's just about diet and what's going on. We're in the middle of a spiritual shift, I believe. It's actually kind of it is a conflict or a battle between dark forces and light forces. It is playing out in real time in front of us right now. All you need to do is look around on every front, political, religious, spiritual, you name it. We've got some conflict going on. And it's in our face, to get us to kind of not necessarily choose a side, but and more than that, it's just are you going to stand up in the light or are you going to stand up in darkness? And put your energy toward the light or toward the dark. It's really that simple. In this case, I think a lot of us are here now to uphold the light, and that's being evidenced in the diet of a lot of people. So I'm just speaking from personal experience right now. Perhaps you have some interesting stories you want to share or not. Just think about it. For right now, I'm just noticing people that are in their, say, 40s through 60s, plus or minus on the younger and older side. Notice there's a shift in the diet. So for me personally, it was not a conscious decision. I'm just kind of gravitating far away from meat. There are a lot of moral and other beautiful reasons to do that. Not everybody is ready to take that on, though, and that's okay too. I believe that our bodies, our souls will be tapped to know, when not to continue if that's not right for us. And if you still do love meat and eat it, okay, that's fine. Just know you might be coming into a time where you don't want it so much anymore, just naturally. So I never made a conscious decision. I'll still have some occasionally if I feel I need it or want it. And but for the most part, my body is physically rejecting things like that. Also, anything processed. So if there's hormones put into the milk or the dairy products, cheeses, I'm just noticing none of those are resonating with my being, and they're naturally kind of falling away. I don't even want them. It's almost coming to the point where I just want, liquids. And I do believe that's a part of this great spiritual shift going on, where the physical body is gravitating, if you want to go toward the lighter side of the things. It is just naturally shedding some of these things that are a little bit physically and spiritually heavier. So if that's happening to you, that's what I'm noticing. Don't be alarmed. It's not age and that, I'm getting older, so these things are happening. It really is because of a spiritual basis, at least I believe. Anyway, no matter what you choose, I hope you're having a healthy, good meal and meals, and that no matter what's going on, you'll still be able to manage that. I wish you extra good wishes for that. So now let's get into the sky observation part of the show. All right. This is called Strange Light Sources plus Object. On the left-hand side is the original. On the right-hand side, the enhanced version. What caught my attention here was this is like pre-sunset looking southwest in the sky, and I just noticed this strange light source, kind of creating a shaft coming this way. But yet there's also a strange light source happening over here. It just seemed odd. There also is kind of a wider beam happening this way, but no apparent, logical source for that to be going on. So I put some enhancement on the photo to the right. Now, if you've seen my show before, you know what this is all about, and you can just tune me out for a second. Thanks for coming back. If you're new, when I say enhancement or enhanced photo, it simply means I've altered some attributes of the photo, such as brightness, contrast, color, saturation, things of that nature. And I may throw in a masking block to hide a license plate number or street number just for privacy and security of whatever's going on. But that's it. So anyway, to the right is the enhanced version, and I do that so that we can pull out and draw out and highlight some things happening in the photo that may not be detected, just to the human eye or even the wider range of the camera, photo sensitivity. So here we go. Here's an example. So, we see stuff, there's, little bits and pieces of things like there and there that kind of draw my attention of what could that be. And so with enhancement, I see it a little bit better. So I'll start off with A just to show you an area of interest. A.1 means that I've either put enhancement on the photo, zoomed in and put enhancement, or both. So at A1, with some enhancement, I do see it seems like an object there with some shadow to it. So I go up to 8.2, I've zoomed in and altered the contrast a bit and some other things, and sure enough, to me that does look like an object, and it looks like actually a field of something happening on both sides. So is this a craft that's got a little toroid going on, energy field around it, or is it something else? I don't know, but that's going to be my guess for right now. And you'll see why as we get further into this view, or similar views of this, because I'm really finding a lot of cloaking craft in this scene on this particular day on December 4th. So here we go. This is now slightly later in time, but we're still looking at southwest. And I'm looking at areas A, B, and C in this particular photo. Now we go to the right at enhancement, and we've got this trail coming in with like a ball at the end of it. Now this is on the cover slide I have in a previous show called Sky Watch On. So now here's a second case of this really strange phenomenon. And then I'm looking here at C.1, because the color, when we put some contrast, shows you that these are two different light sources. If they were the same, they would either both be white or both off-cast yellow. And so what's going on in here? And we've got this little blur of a thing that could be a craft going by. It looks like there's a trail, tapering off this whole thing. But still, it could be something else, and we're going to get into that coming up. Now, B gets very interesting, B.1. There's a disturbance in here, and now we start to also pick out regular geometrical shapes that look like they have design to it. And this is actually on the cover, and you'll see why. This looks like a craft and cloak. This is called Cloaking Craft and Headlights. So again, we're looking at the same scene, and we're going to run through this about 9 or 10 more slides, looking at different various aspects of this with different levels of contrast. So here again, I'm noting A is this disturbance, which looks like a craft sitting in there, and it does look like the Millennium Falcon a bit. We're going to take a look at it in more detail. Then we've got B, just kind of, again, noticing something going on in this area, and these bits of lights that are popping out here. It looks like lights anyway. We've got two little round objects here and here, very, very noteworthy. And then C, same thing here. Looks like another two. So that's why in the title I'm just putting headlights in quotes, because it almost looks like these are headlights on some kind of craft. But we're going to take a closer look at that as well. And then D is just showing this overall disturbance, atmospheric disturbance. So when we get these choppy clouds, I like to call them staccato clouds, just because they are all choppy and fuzzy, yet everything else is in focus. And these do look this way to the human eye. So it's just really strange, this overall area, and then in more particularly, all the stuff that's going on down in here, even E, we're going to see what's popping up here. So let's put more contrast and other things on it, and here we go. So D, again, looks like this overall ball, is like moving with a lot of movement down this way in the sky. Who knows what's going on in here as well. Then we go to 8.1, and here's our little Millennium Falcon type thing popping out. We've got strong bits with shadow popping out all over the place, and this is a very distinct structure we're going to take a look at. Can't see too much on E.1, but we will in the future. Then B, here we go. We got, again, these little self-illuminating sources happening in here. This is not just coming from backlight of something, in the back going on. And then C.1, again, we have the echoing of two very distinct pairs of lights. So now we're going to keep looking with even more editing of attributes on the photos. So here we go. 8.2. Now we've got a little bit of golden streak coming through here from whatever's happening with this light source and this little object. And again, we've got such a clear structure happening here, and it looks like it's just veiled in some cloaking clouds. Then again, we see these light sources all at these points. So now we're going to go up. So C2, let's go to C3. There you go, two pairs of angled lights. B2 down here, we're going to look up here at B3. Again, these are light points. A2, here we go. We start to see this tube-like thing with a circular opening at the end, like a pipe, like a very big pipe. And then we start to see little things off-springing, shooting up off of here, leaving a little trail, and things with shadow. Look even closer. I know this is bitmappy and grainy a bit, but I've taken all color out of it so we can just focus on the structure of things. And again, we've got this opening at the end of this pipe, and then we've got these other pieces that have solidity to them and shadow, and this little thing springing off in the air from this cluster. And then whether this light behind it is connected with this cloaking craft, I'm calling it, or if it's something independent happening separate from this, which I think it is, there's something else going on there too. Now E.4, we're starting to see a little bit of a hint of a structure down here too. We're going to look at that better coming up. And here we go. We're going back to an original without enhancements just for a minute and zooming in. Again, we've got that pipe-like structure here, and definitely hard pieces with shadows and luminosity. Then we have at 8.5, we start to make out a little bit more of some type of structure. So we're going to go look even further at this with more contrast and toning down the brightness a bit. Actually, this should say enhanced photo. Sorry, it says original. But anyway, again, we've got that pipe holding true. Now we start to see a spherical element here that's casting a shadow. Again, we've got these little bits and pieces creating shadows. So that's an object in cloaking and cloud. We see the way this cloak material, or I don't know if it's a water vapor, plasma, whatever's constituting that cloak, starts to cascade like a little fog over these pieces. And then we see at 8.6, we start to see regular hard shape again, okay, with the definite edges and intelligent design to it. So let's look a little further. Sorry, I kind of mixed up the slides. This should be original now instead of enhanced, but you know what I mean. So here we go. 8.7 now is where we had that like Millennium Falcon type cloaking craft. It's starting to get more covered by cloud, quote unquote cloud, or cloaking material, whatever that is. And then down here, this starts to emerge more as a shape and a definite something with hard edges and design to it at 8.7. Look at this interesting thing happening here too. So we're going to look at that with a little more enhancement. Here we go. Here you see, there's a regularized shape, geometric shape happening in there. We got a little edge to it with shadow. Got a hard line here, a parallel line down here. It almost looks like the hull, of a boat. See what you think is going on in there. And then at 8.8, we have this whole disturbance, atmospheric disturbance going on, and that cloaking material, morphing and changing in different ways to cloak it better. But you still have an object poking out here, which has a very specific hard edge and shadow and dimension to it. And then look over here to the left. I'm calling it pinhole lights on a larger craft, ? Because look, we have regularized points that look like lights. And if you look at a previous show, I believe it's in Skywatch On, you see that phenomenon too. So to me, this is just screaming this whole scene that we've got a cloaking craft here as well, of many different types. Throw in that big ball, with the trail of light coming in the original photo that started this whole sequence off. And this whole area is just riddled with cloaking craft. And then we're going to look at that E little section again. So again, this is bitmappy. The more we go in and try to toy with this a bit, but we are still pulling out. We've got a long nearly parallel lines here, suggesting some kind of hull with an open top to it. It's something happening in here. So again, see what you think, and if you have any fun ideas, I don't care if it's science-based or just totally fantastical and fun, and you want to comment on it, let me know in this comment section below. All right, we're going to look at it. I think this is one more or two more times here. So on the left is a slightly different view, vertical format of what's going on, and to the right is enhanced. This time I took all color out of it just to really focus on this burst of energy happening here above with this ball, with this trail coming in here. There's some weird things happening off into here too. Little things here and here. There's going to be more things, by the way, in all of these photos that I don't necessarily call out. Sometimes there's just too much in any one photo to do it, to cover it all. But if there's an area of interest that I didn't touch on and you would love to see it talked about a little bit more, do let me know and I'll cover it in a future show. Let me know in the comment section below. Anyhow, here we are. We're looking at 8.10. Now again is that area where we had that Millennium Falcon type ship, shape, and then 8.11 down below. So anyway, something still hangs in there, for quite a while later. And there is hard structure back in there, so I'm definitely calling all of this cloaking craft. Look, even here, if I go back up to this area where my cursor is, we've got some kind of shape peeking up like a triangle and on an angle, and then we got like two arms that are symmetrical coming out in front of it. So that could be just a very small piece of something cloaking back beyond there. So once again, see what you think though. All right, this is just called Atmospheric Disturbance Cloaking Craft. It just seemed again strange with these kind of staccato clouds. There seems to be a whiter, brighter, triangular form beyond, and then this kind of bulbous, round or elliptical form hidden by staccato cloud, things on a weird angle here. There's just a whole lot of strange going on in there just to kind of look the other way and say that's normal. So here we go with some enhancement, and there's a certain character of this stuff that I'm calling cloaking material. Again, I'm not sure if it's plasma, water vapor, or combination, or something altogether different. All I'm referring to with that is cloaking material. So there is a certain character to that has a little bit of cloudiness to it in a different way, in a foggy, cloudy, mist-like way. And you see that kind of happening in here, over this whiter object and in around this darker object. So then we got this straight bar happening. So what the heck is going on? I say atmospheric disturbance because to me that usually is when there is some type of cloaking craft present. it does really jockey and chop up the atmosphere around it. And so that's I believe that's electromagnetic wave activity coming from some kind of craft, or other some type of frequencies emitted from some type of craft. Okay, this is called multiple craft or objects looking west. This is on a different day around a little after 5 p.m. And what caught my attention here is A, B, and C. And we're going to have a look at that with enhancement. So here we go. We're going to start up here at the top of the slide. So here's A.1 with contrast. We see shadow around this thing. We see a little bit of vapor around it, or some type of trail of something coming behind it. B.1, we start to see another little strange object with dimension and even like a hole-like shape. And same thing here, a hole shape at C.1. Then we're going to drop down to C.2. You can see it even better. It's really a hole. I mean, I don't know any clouds that form a perfect circle like that inside the structure of something else. And then we have B.2 coming down from this little object here. We see some sharp edges, also kind of a hole-like indentation on the side. And then we look at A2, from A1, just a little more closer detail. It's really bitmappy, but we still do see a shape with some shadow to it. So I still think these are all, if not cloaking craft, some type of advanced tech in the sky, like sensors, or I don't know, but maybe they generate cloak material as they go. I'm not sure. I do feel like they are kind of like scouting sensory type equipment. All right, this is called Unusual and Varied Cloud Activity. The upper left is the original, the lower one is the enhanced version, the bigger frame here. And what I'm noting is we've got 3 distinct, totally different types of cloud happening in the very same area. That's not typical, that's not normal. Cumulus clouds floating by. We've got this kind of patterning working here, very, very, what I want to say, this just really stands out like a sore thumb, because this is hot, humid, windless, practically windless now these days for the past decade, half decade or so. Subtropical to tropical South Florida, we never get clouds that form like this. So I'm saying this is cloaking craft. Also up here we get that what I call staccato cloud. It's all choppy. That means something is disturbing the atmosphere, creating waves to do that. And then C, what are these little bits? Somebody tell me what that is. I see a hint of cloak material fogged up in front of that too. So I'm very inclined to say that's yet another different type of cloaking craft or entity. Maybe something even interdimensional. Who knows? When I said cloaking craft, I forgot to mention that. I do mean it could be something very hard, like you can knock on it, 3D type of a craft, or it could be something interdimensional, or it could be a 3D type craft phasing in and out of dimension. Who knows? But, see what you feel about that. All right, this is called Unusual and Varied Cloud Activity 2 because now we're just looking at it with some enhancements. So the left-hand side, we're zoomed in on an original. On the right-hand side, just tweaking some things. What I notice here is we've got some dark shadow on these echoing curves that are perfectly aligned with each other. And then we have some bright spots. So to me that means self-illumination happening within whatever this thing is. Here we get a little fragment, like a hint at something that might have some dimension to it. I do think that this overall thing where my cursor is maybe a little separate craft, kind of piggybacking on or on the rim of whatever this thing is. Again, see what you think though. All right, this is called Big Baby Dragon Wisp. Sorry, my voice cracked. A wisp. So I covered that in other shows, especially the one that talks about pink air elementals. So it was brought by my attention to another Skywatcher that this is a thing called a wisp, and actually he referred to it as sylph, and he gathered his information from yet others who look at this, and also people in the Native American community, calling this a sylph, so like an air elemental, air spirit. And what's interesting is the structure of these things a lot of times go really crystalline inside with geometry, or they're very free-form and flowing. And what I've noticed is they always seem to show up in an area where there's a distinct geometry, like a triangle or a pentagon shape, something of that nature, or trapezoidal. And so I'm not sure what the relationship yet is of this very free-spirited air spirit and the more rigid geometry. I would love to find out. If anyone knows, please give me a little a detail in the comment section below. But otherwise, these are just, to me, more ethereal, maybe more spirit-based things happening in the sky. So anyway, this one is just from a cloud play perspective, fun, because it looks like the face, the head of the dragon, maybe some ears, and a little puff of smoke coming out with the arms and the body, wings, and tail, in the back. but see what you think. And here's Big Baby Dragon Wisp one more time in black and white mode, just to kind of pick out some shapes and things that are constituting this. And there's also something strange happening right back in here, which could be something more solid coming in and out of dimension. Alright, this is called Red Pink Glow North at sunset. So this was really odd because here we are in full sunset, and off to the west there was no red pink glow, and there's a really pronounced one happening, in this case north-northeast, and in this case more northeast. But it was really pronounced. So what is going on in that direction to cause an intense red pink glow opposite of the sunset, where it could not even reach this area anyway to illuminate it in that color? What could be causing that is the question of the day. So do have a look in my description box below for some options and ideas. And also, as I always say, please be looking at other sky and earth watching channels all over YouTube and other places, more independent thinking, free thinking, and see what other theories might be out there. And have a look at my show too, and then put it all together for yourself to see what you think is going on. Alright, well, this is the photo of the week and the close of the show, so thank you for being such a lovely audience and hanging around here a while. These are just some tropical flowers. I don't have the name of the species, but I'll track that down and try to include that in the description box below later or in the future show. So thanks for being here. In the meantime, I wish you tremendous peace, inner peace, all the best wishes of the world go to you right now. So thanks for being here. Take care, everyone. Lavender Sky Panther. Bye.